You think you're choosing to stay, but you're not. And the part of you that feels like it's deciding was shaped long before this relationship even began, which means something uncomfortable. This isn't just about them, it's about a pattern you didn't even know you were following. And the part of you that decided was built by someone else. That's not a metaphor. That's how the brain actually works. Most people believe they stay in painful situations because of love, or loyalty, or hope. But something else is happening underneath all of that, something quieter, something older, and until you see it clearly, you can't make a real choice. You can only react and call it a decision. Let's start with something that feels obvious but isn't. The human brain is not designed to seek happiness. It's designed to seek familiarity. These two things are not the same, and confusing them is the source of a lot of suffering. Familiarity means, this is what I know. Happiness means, this is what I need. The brain doesn't automatically care about the second one. It's obsessed with the first. That's where people get stuck, because familiarity to the nervous system equals safety. Even when the familiar thing is painful, even when the familiar thing is destroying you, the nervous system doesn't ask, is this good for me? It asks, is this known to me? And if the answer is yes, it pulls you back, every time. This is the part no one notices. When you grow up in an environment with a certain emotional texture, tension, unpredictability, emotional distance, conditional love, your nervous system maps that texture. It doesn't label it as bad, it labels it as normal. And normal to the brain is home. So when you become an adult and you encounter a relationship that has that same texture, the same push and pull, the same uncertainty, the same hot and cold, something in you relaxes. Not because it's healthy, because it's familiar. You feel like you recognize this person, and that recognition feels like connection. You feel a strange sense of comfort, even when things are hard, and you mistake that recognition for connection. And this is where it becomes invisible. You mistake that comfort for compatibility, but you're not connecting, you're returning. Psychologists call this repetition compulsion. Freud described it first, but modern neuroscience has since explained why it happens, not just that it does. The idea is this: the brain is a pattern-matching machine. It takes your early emotional experiences and turns them into a template, a blueprint, an internal model of what relationships feel like. And then, for the rest of your life, it scans the environment looking for situations that match that model. When it finds a match, even a painful one, it signals something that feels like attraction, like pull, like this person is special. But it's not specialness, it's pattern recognition. This is not a coincidence. That's where people get stuck. They think the intensity means something profound. They think the pull means this person is right for them, when really the pull means this person feels like something they already know. Here's a simple example. Imagine someone who grew up with a parent who was loving but inconsistent. Some days warm, present, available. Other days cold, distant, critical. The child learns love is something you earn. Love is something that comes and goes. To keep love, you have to stay alert, adapt, and never relax completely. Now that child becomes an adult, and they meet someone who is sometimes kind, sometimes distant, sometimes interested, sometimes unavailable. Every therapist in the room sees the pattern immediately, but the person inside it, they feel alive around this person. They feel motivated. They feel like this relationship matters in a way others don't, because it does feel different. It feels familiar in a very deep way, and the nervous system interprets that depth as meaning, and that's where the confusion begins. This is where the programming becomes invisible, because here's the cruel paradox. The relationships that match your early emotional template often feel more real than healthy ones. A calm, consistent, emotionally available person can feel boring, flat, like something is missing, and what's missing is the activation. the anxiety, the uncertainty that your nervous system learned to associate with love. So you leave the calm relationship, or you sabotage it, or you simply don't feel drawn to it in the first place, and you go back or forward to what feels like love, which is the pattern, which is the programming. Intensity is not connection. Activation is not intimacy. The feeling of aliveness around someone is not the same as that person being good for you. If this resonates with you, it's worth paying attention. Subscribe if you want more conversations like this, and tell me in the comments what stood out to you. Now let's go deeper, because it's not just about romantic relationships. This programming runs everywhere. It shows up in the jobs you stay at too long, in the friendships that drain you but feel impossible to leave, in the family dynamics you keep recreating, even when you swore you wouldn't. The brain doesn't compartmentalize this the way we think it does. The emotional template doesn't say, apply this only to romantic partners. It says, this is what relationships feel like, all of them. So you might find yourself drawn to chaotic work environments, not because you're self-destructive, but because calm environments feel unfamiliar and therefore somehow untrustworthy. You might keep friends who take more than they give, not because you lack self-respect, but because that imbalance feels like the natural texture of closeness. You might overwork to earn approval from a manager who never gives it, and feel nothing for the manager who already sees your value. This is the same mechanism, scaled across your entire life. And this is the part no one notices. The programming doesn't just affect who you're drawn to, it affects how you interpret what happens. If your template includes emotional inconsistency, you become very good at reading micro-signals. You notice the slight shift in someone's tone, the pause before they respond, the moment they seem less engaged, and your nervous system immediately activates. Something is wrong. Fix it. Adjust. Try harder. This is hypervigilance. It's a survival mechanism that was useful when you were small and dependent on an unpredictable caregiver. But in adult relationships, it becomes a prison, because you spend enormous energy managing someone else's emotional state, reading them, adapting to them, making yourself smaller or larger depending on what they seem to need. And you call this love. This is where it becomes a pattern. It's a strategy you learned before you had words. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people, when they hear this, immediately think, that's not me, I'm aware, I've done the work. But awareness and reprogramming are not the same thing. You can know, intellectually, that your pattern is rooted in early experiences. You can understand it completely. You can explain it to other people and still be completely unable to stop doing it, because this isn't stored in the thinking brain. It's stored in the body, in the nervous system, in the parts of you that respond before thought even begins. You don't think your way into the pull toward a familiar pattern. You feel it, and then thought comes afterward to explain it, justify it, rationalize it. That's why insight alone rarely changes behavior. You can see the cage clearly and still not leave it. This is where the pattern locks in, because staying isn't always passive. Sometimes staying is extremely active. You work to fix things. You communicate more. You adjust your expectations. You convince yourself that if you just understood it better, explained it better, tried one more time, something would shift. And that effort feels meaningful. It feels like you're choosing, like you're in control. But the activity is part of the trap. The brain releases dopamine around uncertainty, around pursuit, around the hope of resolution. So the more effortful and unresolved the situation, the more cognitively and emotionally consuming it becomes. And the more consuming it is, the more it feels like it matters. You're not staying because it's worth it. You're staying because your brain has been hijacked by the chemistry of unresolved pursuit. Missing someone doesn't mean they're good for you. Working hard for something doesn't mean it deserves your effort. Caring deeply doesn't mean the situation is healthy. So what does change look like? Not what it's usually sold as. It doesn't look like suddenly feeling attracted to healthy people. It doesn't look like the pattern disappearing. It doesn't look like never feeling the pull again. Real change looks like a gap, a small, uncomfortable, deliberate gap between the pull and the response. The feeling arises, the familiar activation, the draw toward a known pattern, and instead of following it immediately, you pause. You don't suppress it. You don't shame it. You just notice it. Oh, this is the pattern. I recognize this, not with judgment, with observation, because the nervous system learns through experience, not through understanding. You have to have the experience of not following the pull and surviving it for the system to begin updating its model. Every time you choose differently, you're not just making a different choice. You're writing a new piece of code, slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. Let's bring this together, because this is the thing most people miss completely. You were not broken by your experiences. You were shaped by them. The brain did exactly what it was supposed to do. It took the environment it was given and built a map, a way of navigating closeness, risk, love, and safety. That map made sense once. It helped you survive, but the map is not the territory. The person standing in front of you today is not your parent. The relationship in front of you is not the one that shaped you. The problem isn't that you have a map. Everyone has one. The problem is mistaking the map for reality, following it automatically, without checking whether it still applies. You are not broken, but you have been running on old code. Code that was written in a language you didn't choose, at a time when you had no other options. Seeing it doesn't erase it, but it's the beginning of something real, because you can't rewrite what you can't see. And now you can see it. That's not a small thing. That might be the moment everything starts to change. And if you made it here, that already means something. Most people scroll past the moment something gets too close to the truth. You didn't. So sit with what came up for you. Not to analyze it, not to fix it immediately, just to notice it. Because that noticing, that small, uncomfortable pause, is where real change begins. If this conversation opened something for you, subscribe. There's more where this came from. And leave a comment below. Not just any comment. Tell me, what's the pattern you finally recognized in yourself today? I read them, and they matter more than you think.